Should we use positive reinforcement when we're training dogs with behaviour issues? Positive reinforcement can be coercive and it can actually get a lot of people bitten. Positive reinforcement is also...
Okay, so that's not true. But I have a feeling this person is probably going to go left. I don't think she actually believes that. We'll see. These are things that people say a lot about positive reinforcement. I hear that a lot. It's like coercion, or one of my favorite things people say a lot about positive reinforcement is that they feel like they're begging their dog. What's his name? Beckman? He says that whenever he's using for treats. Oh, I'm going to beg him for treats. I'm like, sweetheart, you don't know how to use them. All right, let's continue. Let's see what you have to say.
Suppressing. And there is research that shows using rewards-based training methods can actually increase the likelihood of aggressive behaviour in dogs. That's what the science shows. If we're using positive reinforcement, we're not actually stopping the dog from anything. It is not good for relationships. We're basically bribing your dog to be with you. As soon as there's no treats, that's just going to stop happening. So you will always have to carry treats around with you. If you want to reward your dog a lot for doing lots of behaviours, they're just going to get really overweight and unhealthy. Positive reinforcement creates addiction because there's nothing to mitigate when you can get it. It's all that you're using. You're not really addressing the reason why your dog is doing the unwanted behaviour in the first place. There are so many other ways to do things. You don't need to use positive reinforcement. At the end of the day, anybody can give their dog a treat. There's no skill in doing that. Real dog trainers look at the bigger picture. They look at lifestyle, the things that could be impacting the dog's health, relationship, changing the association of things. You can't just give a treat and expect everything to be fixed. If you're watching this and about to jump into my comments to rage that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to positive reinforcement, don't worry. Everything that I just said is true, depending on how positive reinforcement is utilised, depending on if it's not used with skill. If it's not okay to just cherry pick and point out anything that can be wrong with using positive reinforcement, why does punishment get talked about this way? We don't isolate.
Okay, that's perfect. Yes. All right. So I didn't think she would go that direction, but I like where she's going with this. I thought she was kind of making fun of people who say these things, but I do like where she's going with this. So I'm going to kind of piggyback off some things that she just said. So the idea of bribing your dog, I think is a very misunderstood concept because you're humanizing your dog. So as I've said before, your dog does not have human psychology. Okay, your dog has dog psychology, and so your dog doesn't know what a bribe is. Okay, there is no such thing as a bribe for a dog. And so when you say that you're bribing your dog, again, you are humanizing your dog. What your dog does know is when he does this thing, he gets this treat. It's pretty simple. And we can vary the treats based on how good of a thing he just did. So I like to use agility as an example because I've never seen any e-collars or prong collars or using any positive punishment at all when it comes to agility training. And there's a reason why, right? Because we want to get our dogs amped. We want them to go up and over the A-frame. We want them to go through the tunnel. We want them to go over the jump. And we don't do that by, giving them leash pops. We want them to work for us. And so in order to do that, I want to use high value treats. I want to make sure that I'm jackpotting them. I want to make sure that I'm getting them amped for training and not just telling them no a bunch and using positive punishment, because that's actually going to have the opposite effect. It's going to leave them stressed out. It's going to leave them not wanting to do any of this agility. It's going to leave a bad association with the A-frame, with the tunnel, with the jump. Okay? So all that being said, this person so far is on the right track. Let's see what else she has to say.
One quadrant of learning as if it's the only thing that's being used in training. It's just a quadrant of learning. It doesn't mean good. It doesn't mean bad. It's not if you get to choose positive reinforcement or punishment. They are just two factors that could be part of a huge training program. Using punishment, if a trainer is going to use punishment, takes skill if you are not going to cause issues. But everybody speaks about it like it can only be harmful, it can only be incorrectly done, and it's presented like that's just...
So I'm going to disagree. I don't think that you can use punishment in a skilled way. Now, I think sometimes what happens is we have disagreements about what punishment is. Because I'll put a dog in a crate, and then so some trainers will be like, well, that's punishment. Okay, that's a timeout. Also, we don't want to think of the crate as punishment. We want to think of it as a quiet place. They're safe space. And so I don't think it's really that different from telling a child to go to their room. That's their punishment, right? I don't think it's quite the same as how balance trainers often do leash pops. But this is how they try to get you guys. This will be their argument. I hear this a lot. Oh, you can misuse any tool, and you could potentially do damage to the dog. And so I just don't think that is a solid argument against using strictly positive reinforcement. Because positive reinforcement has been proven to work better than positive punishment. All right.
How punishment works. Can we please stop isolating a single quadrant and talking about it like it's the only thing on the table? The only good thing about labels like balance training or force-free training is it helps us argue about things. If we were all just trainers and our goal was to actually just help the dog, and then we thought about what kind of contingencies, tools, methods, techniques we were going to use for that, and made cost-benefit decisions around what we were going to do, and always prioritized bettering our education and experience so that we can make those decisions really well, rather than isolating a quadrant and talking about it like it's in a vacuum.
Okay.
We would all help more dogs. Should we use...
No, that's where she lost me. I liked what she was saying up until that point. Dog sense. So, a few things. I agree with you in some sense of like, oh, let's all hang out and be friends and we can all just share techniques and ideas. Yeah, no. Sorry, sweetie. I did that. And it doesn't work, because what's going to happen is I am going to come at it from a scientifically proven point of view based on psychology, and then you're going to come at it with, that dog needs to be put in his place. Let's use leash pops and prong collars. We got to be dominant. We got to dominate the dog. This is all coming from experience, guys. I don't know this person, so I don't know that she does that. She might not do that. But I'm saying, coming from experience, this is what I've dealt with when I try to incorporate balance training into my practice. It doesn't work, and I'm left with someone who has no idea about what is going to work and how dog psychology works, and they're giving really bad advice to my clients. And it's been bad news. Okay? It's been bad news. So positive reinforcement dog trainers tend to stay together for that reason. And as much as I would like to be on the side of all dog trainers, let's all hang out, let's be friends, let's share ideas, I've done that already. I did that for the first 5, 7, 8 years. I've shared ideas. And you know what I discovered? I discovered that positive reinforcement works. And that there is no argument. There is no it's over. Like, you're not going to convince me otherwise. Okay? I've done enough. I've read all the books. I've tried different methods, and I'm telling you that balance methods, they suck and they're outdated, and I don't want to share ideas with balance trainers. Sorry if that's cocky, but it is what it is. So If you're a balance trainer and you want to duke it out, go ahead, leave some messages in my comments. It doesn't bother me at all. You have the right to speak your mind and your opinions, and I will respect it. But I still don't want to use your methods. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.